Hello, and welcome to episode 48 of the Extreme Hardware Podcast. Today we've got the normal crew, starting with Axie.
It's Femboy Friday.
Hi. We've got Chris.
It's Femboy Friday.
We've got Jack.
It's
Hey
Femboy
there,
Friday.
choomers, boomers, and zoomers.
Yeah, welcome to 2021, all of the above.
Jack, that sounds really racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is Simmons. All right, so
Wow, that was rude.
Wait, did I not get you, Alex?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Who's Alex?
Right. Yeah, you know what? I should have introduced you because you picked the first two articles. So hey, anyway.
I might. Okay.
Well, anyway, so we'll just get right into it. So we had some trademarked fake news in regards to the missing RTX 3000 series GPUs. So according to this article on PC Gamer, there was a news story going around about a distributor in South Korea that they claimed that they lost 500,000 RTX 3000 or 3000 series GPUs, and it came out on December 28th that this was not accurate whatsoever.
Damn, you think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
No, never.
Insert clenched fist here.
Yeah, so it states that the pictures of boxes in a shipping container made the article seem convincing, save for the fact that 500,000 GPUs is a rather large amount of inventory. It was just some spiteful NVIDIA employee, apparently, who couldn't purchase a GPU for himself that made this article.
Wait, wasn't it that something else?
Okay, number one, this guy is
April Fool's Day equivalent.
Oh yeah, December 28th is somewhat akin to April Fool's Day in Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Ow.
Holy Innocents Day is what they call it.
Okay, so this is the first time that I have heard about this fake news. So going by that, we have just spent this podcast spreading fake news. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, everybody's talking about this hot new thing, but did you know the truth? And it's like, well, I haven't talked about this at all. I didn't know it existed. You don't have to correct anything.
We were going to talk about this when this first cropped up. However, because I think I remember us discussing something similar to this back in early November.
There was a couple times where this kind of thing happened.
And
there's the bullshit about selling like $300 million of GPUs to miners or whatever that was. Like,
that was fun.
That didn't happen.
Yep.
It's not real.
It was somebody, and that one was just misquoting just the revenue reports.
Yeah, no, that wasn't misquoting the revenue reports. What that was that's never mind. No, what it was, there was some like analyst. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. There was like some analyst type think, like Wall Street analyst type think piece, and it was behind a paywall. And I guarantee that nobody reporting on this had read the article in question, and they misread it, and the internet just kind of went with it because the Bitcoin mans are stealing graphics cards. How dare they?
This is just like 2017 all over again.
Yeah.
Damn, a new GPU came out and Bitcoin miners want it. What a friggin' shock. Like every time without fail.
Yeah, just kind of a side note. I don't think people forget how bad 2017 was with graphics cards. I'm not saying that 2020 is acceptable with the shortages. I'm just saying that I don't think people remember, like, it took 6 months to get a 1080 Ti.
Yeah, I mean, hell, at least 2020 has an excuse, which is they can't keep up with demand.
Right.
Like that's better than
It's a weird thing. Like my tweet about this was kind of relevant now at this point. In that yes, there's been high demand for the high end cards, but there's something weird going on with the amount of scalpers and the amount of just lack of previous gen stock that should still be around. When my city of almost 200,000 people, the only new NVIDIA cards you can buy are GT 710 from Best Buy.
Well, now.
Like, that is a different level of no stock when I can't even go out and buy a mid-range graphics card that has hardware acceleration for 1080p YouTube videos.
Well, I mean, and that's I think just the difference with this year is because with 2017, there was just no stock whatsoever. I mean, I distinctly remember having to wait about 2 years to get my Fury Nano. And then
you could still get low end cards, though, and mid range cards.
Yeah,
those
right.
were missing.
And then this year, or this past year now, it was just the issue where everybody needed a computer now. So everybody had an excuse to go out.
COVID actually reduced demand. There was a think piece about the SSD market actually that said that.
But SSDs are different, I would say.
Yeah, but you still need one per computer these days, like NAND flash demand.
But that's disregarding people who are upgrading.
I would say that the market for people building gaming computers or purchasing gaming computers was significantly larger this past year, though, just due to the sheer number of people who were getting, they were at home and they wanted to get into.
No. But that's where I'd agree with Chris, because if you're building a new computer, you're going to be putting an SSD in it. My argument is that that's not accounting for people who are on older GPUs and upgrading them, because they won't be upgrading their CPU at the same time.
It is true.
Probably.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I do not believe that is a huge part of the market.
No, it's not a huge part of the market, but it's a part of the market. It's interesting that the SSD demand hasn't gone up. I don't think people are really putting hard drives with 3000 series GPUs in.
Well, I mean, it's because it's two totally different things, right? Every computer needs storage. Not every computer even needs a graphics card. Like you've just got your integrated stuff. That's fine.
That's true. I will also say, just a separate observation, was just the sheer availability of scalper bots that you could just download and set up for yourself.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
I like those.
Well, they've always been available. It's like a lot of tech and software. It never makes a big splash until all of a sudden a bunch of people use it. I mean, look at Among Us this year.
True.
The game released in 2018. To basically,
15,
it was an kind of success when it launched as an indie title, and then all of a sudden 2020 it just picked up a massive amount of steam and was beating out AAA titles on Steam for viewership and playing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And people were building computers. Like, I don't think gaming computers alone are a good indication of what GPUs are going for. We're not exactly a PG stream here, but I mean, you have streaming in general, anything from gaming to just chatting streams to OnlyFans streamers. They still need a computer to process all their UIs and everything else, their subscriber goals, all that stuff. There's been a huge increase for just video streaming people.
Sorry.
I wonder how laptop sales are doing then.
I think the laptop sales mostly all went to businesses who wanted to push their employees to work from home, schools that had to quickly adapt, or parents who had to quickly get another PC. Because I know even in my town, we had 3 or 4 of my friends needed me to build computers for them because they only had one family computer, but they have 3 kids who need to attend school online.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd actually be curious to see a chart with laptop sales throughout the duration of 2020, because I know a friend of mine just purchased a laptop a month and a half ago, and it was getting something with like a 2060 equivalent GPU, and it was on sale for maybe like $1,000. So
I don't know if that's decent. I'm very
that SKU was typically in the 1,500 price range for a gaming laptop. So
what I'm waiting for is in the new year, if this whole COVID doesn't actually go away, we get like another big wave of new strains. Is that there's going to be another big push for work for school from home permanently, and I'm really actually surprised Linus Tech Tips of all channels didn't redo a like 3 school kids 1 PC build with Unraid or something like that, where you could build for
just like
1,500
DMs.
US, build 3 really strong PCs built into one.
Yep,
with minimal parts. That would be a perfect goal for that video, but I'm not a content creator. Well, I'm just too lazy and don't have the charisma.
I was going to say, before we publish this recording, you should totally hit him up and say, hey, I came up with this idea. You should commission me for it.
Commission a fellow Canadian on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me $50 and I'll give you this idea.
Yeah, dude, COVID's going to be great because we've got like record failing grades. What's going to be really cool is right now COVID has been polite, and so far the spike protein on it, which is the thing that causes an immune response, hasn't really mutated at all. It's like been the same since the beginning, even though we're on, I think, the third major strain. At least the new one in the UK. So now it's the Britain virus, or the England virus, which is okay to say because England is a bad place. Anyway, so the spike protein hasn't mutated. That's what triggers the immune response. So anybody who got like the first strain is still immune to it. Any vaccine research for the first strain still applies exactly as well to the new one. The problem is going to be, so far the rollout isn't very good for the vaccine. Which means, oopsie whoopsie, we're going to have enough time that what if the spike protein mutates in a way that, makes it a new virus that your body doesn't recognize? Dude, this is going to kick ass.
We don't even need a vaccine. Like most of East Asia dealt with it very quickly and effectively without needing one.
Yeah, because they're competent, basically.
What I can see happening is just kind of waves of fighting it with vaccines and it mutating to a point where it goes beyond what the vaccine can vaccinate.
It's just long term because we screwed up the early response too hard. What ends up happening is it's just flu, but like 10 times as lethal.
No, but not just that. Like, I mean, imagine if this continued for 10 years' time, and in 10 years' time, it's normal. It's like, hey, you need to get this year's COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Every year.
I mean, I could absolutely see that becoming the norm.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't need to be the norm.
I kind of thought that
by East Asian countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought that that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly.
With how selfish and ignorant people are, yeah, that's probably the better outcome of another one being Florida.
Hell yeah, Florida, God's waiting room, and he made COVID to clear it out.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Lotto 2.0, where you're going to have a Lotto for money and then Lotto for the vaccine.
Oh, actually, yeah, no, Alex, speaking of which, Florida is using what amounts to like Ticketmaster. It's Eventbrite, which is, a ticket selling website for the COVID vaccine. So you can like get your slot and there's 800 and they all ran out in 2 minutes. And
hey, putting the scalping bots to even more destructive.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, this is just really crappy dystopia. Like, if you saw a movie based on this premise, like, okay, there's a deadly virus and there's a lottery to get the vaccine, you would just say, no, this sucks. You're bad at writing.
It's a dumb movie. What are you? This is never happen.
But yeah, there you go. Yeah, reality sucks. This is a tech podcast.
Yeah, okay. You want me to...
Wait. Before we move on too quickly.
No, that's fine. I'm just realizing my tangent.
It's okay.
Shit, now you made me forget.
Sorry.
Okay, well, if it comes back to you, just interrupt me.
Well, here's something. We could bring it back to tech. You could help fight COVID by joining our Folding at Home team.
What I was going to say is, imagine, like, now we start seeing people, like, scalping GPUs and PlayStations or whatever. Now we see, like, COVID vaccines pop up on eBay and they're scalping it.
Oh my god, yes. Get me a black market
COVID.
Yeah. Dude, that's really cool. See... Yeah, that's the kind of crappy dystopia I can get behind.
Hopefully they could actually store it properly, though.
They won't. That's the whole thing that'll be funny.
Yeah.
It'll arrive in a broken UPS box.
That'll be the best part of it. It'll be sold from some other country and it'll be marketed as not requiring refrigeration.
Ooh,
God, yes. AliExpress COVID vaccines. Drop shipped COVID vaccines.
Yeah, go to my Shopify and get some COVID vaccine.
Yeah. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Yeah, me neither. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just change gears here and get back to GPUs because
you're
GPUs.
changing gears. You're changing gears manually.
Correct.
Because of your Civic.
Correct. How did you know?
Yeah,
So,
Simmons has a manual Civic, and he let me drive it, and I dumped the clutch at a red line.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was.
And we did it in a school parking lot as well, which was even funnier.
That's right. That's because schools are where you learn. You learn how to fuck up Simmons' Civic.
All right. So Gigabyte has confirmed several RTX 3080 Ti and 3060 12 gig models. So with entries sent to Eurasian Economic Commission, or the EEC regulatory office, they have confirmed 13 different models of the 3080 Ti 20 gig and 6 different models of the 3060 12 gig.
Sounds nice.
Also, for models of the RX 6900 XT, but NVIDIA, come on, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want more VRAM.
I'm just curious as to why there's 13 different models.
Because this is a very competitive part of the market, although this is rather excessive. It's 13 different... Hang on, is that 13 different models of 3060 Ti specifically?
3080 Ti's.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What in the friggin' heck?
Yeah, it's actually kind of extreme. You have like what does it look? Taurus W, Taurus W, Taurus X W, Taurus XWB.
Stop.
Simmons,
It's Aorus, and T
Aorus
stands for TI, not Taurus.
I can't read.
Yeah, that's Doctor Who's phone booth.
Okay.
The Taurus.
Yeah, the Aorus W.
Wait. Stop. W is clearly for water.
Mm-hmm.
Like probably all in one. W.
Yeah,
might
it's
be
the water force.
Oh wait, the WB is
20,
probably the water block
20
model.
GD means 20 goddamn, but they're censoring themselves.
Shush. WB is probably a water block akin to the hydrocopper.
Yep,
X
that's
is just their X thing.
Yes,
M
extreme.
is probably a
Master.
Smart. And then the one below it is just their base like reference card. OC is the gaming
Gaming OC,
ruler.
Vision OC, Eagle OC. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually not that many. If you look at this on a product page, you'd be like, oh, okay. Because it's like 6, and then you get the OC versions and the water block variants, which you never look at anyway.
True, that is true.
Yeah. I mean, right now there's 10 3090s, there's 10 3080s, there are 5 3070s, and 6 3060 Ti's from Gigabyte.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like they're just really pushing a wide skew, and the water block and the water cooled models are just different.
No, because they were like this for the 2000 series as well.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when you compare, it looks different. I was just looking at this just from this
Simmons,
data.
you
Excuse me.
Jack, please can you enhance that and put an echo on it?
Yes.
Oh, I turned away from my bike.
All right.
Yes, the well-known GPU, the N308 Taurus.
Yeah, that's a cop car, isn't it?
I can't read. Everybody knows this already.
Simmons,
New
is it
from
really hard? Is
new
it
from
really hard,
Gigabyte,
like,
the Taurus sedan.
you know how you have depth of field? Is it really hard, like focusing on a single thing with, those eyes?
You can actually tell. You can actually tell that Simmons doesn't eat meat because of how wide his eyes are spaced. Simmons is actually a prey animal, not a predator.
Oh, nice. Okay, well
That's racism.
Yeah, that means Simmons is going to get bored.
No.
Is that why you did what you did, Chris?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm thinking of a phrase. I'm thinking about bread and the word predator.
Okay, so I don't want you to move on from this because this goes hand in hand with a later thing. I put it at the bottom. Essentially, it's Lenovo also posted a bunch of things for the 3050, 3050 Ti, and the 3060. The web page is down, I assume, because everyone's clicking on it. So I included an image of this.
Oh, thank you. That's polite. Where's the image?
It's
at the very bottom.
The next page in the document.
Oh, hello. Okay.
Yes.
I got lost.
So an interesting thing about that is we have 4 gigs for the 3050, but 6 gigs for the 3050 Ti, and then also 3060 with 12 gigs and an 8 gig 3070.
Sorry, which bit am I looking at here? The graphics?
The bottom.
Very bottom. We have a 3050 and a 3050 Ti with potentially different
Okay,
on it.
so the very bottom is connectivity, security, and privacy.
No, the second, the page right after the main links page.
Page right after the main links page.
Yes.
Jesus freaking business.
Jesus.
I'm going to copy this and paste
Page
in
4
right here.
Lobby.
Voice
There
lobby.
you go.
No, yeah, I found it on the goddamn podcast doc.
Yes,
That's
that's
what
what
I'm
we were
talking
saying.
That's literally what we're
Okay.
talking about.
I thought I
don't
asked
need to
like
get
which
mad.
part of the page we're looking at.
Oh, you're
Please.
It was
looking at
in
the
the
actual
doc.
article. Okay.
I can't read it in the doc. It's too small and it doesn't
Yeah.
want to get big.
There's 200% zoom right here. I just
All
used
right,
it.
fine. Here, I'll make it big.
Oh, now you just fucking distorted it.
There, now it's big.
Chris, undo. Undo, Chris.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
We're a professional podcast.
I don't even know what's going on.
God, same.
the 3050 and the 3050 Ti seem to be completely different GPUs, despite being very similarly named.
I mean, that happens fairly frequently, but I don't see
Well,
what
with the
part of them
3050
is.
Ti being half the VRAM of the 3060 with the same outputs, I have a feeling the 3050 is a different cut, whereas a 3050 Ti is just going to be a slightly reduced 3060, just to meet a slightly lower price point or maybe power target.
Yeah, probably with the similar like outputs as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All of them, or rather, none of them are GDDR6X. They're all just
Of course not. There's no need
Yeah,
for it.
That's going to be when we get the supers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's add more products to the SKU.
Well, to be fair, the Super is like the mid-gen refresh. That's because oopsie whoopsie, we don't have new products this year. Time to refresh.
So wait, just this, it just bugs me that this image is from Lenovo.com's own website where they list the specs, where they put the stuff in. Yet they can't keep consistent formatting of features, like the key features. You got DirectX Trademark 12 for the Navi 5500 card, and then DirectX 12 VR ready for the 2070 CD and the 2070 Super.
Oh, yeah.
Then the rest is just DirectX 12. Because somehow the 3070 is not going to be VR ready when the 2070 Super is.
I like how DirectX is only a registered trademark on the RX 5500. Oh, I think they're just doing it for the first instance of each of these words. That actually kind of makes sense, but whatever.
Oh, well.
Yeah, and HDMI too.
Yeah,
Yes.
HDMI too?
Yeah, look at HDMI on the 5500. It has an R.
Yeah, we got 2.0, 2.0B.
Yeah, but it has an R
Yeah, it does.
registered. Yeah.
So,
Announcement of more NVIDIA GPUs models, I guess, is odd. It makes sense, but
I wouldn't
it's
say
weird
it's
to come
odd.
out with. And the
Good
fact they're
image.
announcing more models. Well, they're not announcing it, but there's going to be this many more models when they can't even keep stock of the current ones.
Oh,
Well-
who cares? It's just one model. Like,
I mean, and honestly, with that SKU with Lenovo, so I assume those are going to be for just Lenovo pre-built and
Just hang on. Something I
Laptops.
didn't want to actually mention that I didn't get to mention is, so you know how when Turing was being released and we got 2060, 2070, 2080, and everyone's like, okay, when's the 2050 coming out? And blah, blah, blah. And obviously it never came out. That was the 1650 and 1660.
yeah, they did that.
So now there's a 3050 and 3050 Ti.
Yes.
Maybe they won't do that.
Well, I mean, specifically, yeah, it's also RTX, keep in mind, because it is, ray tracing. I think NVIDIA did say that they were planning on doing RTX for the full stack. And if they didn't say it, then it was just, heavily rumored. And hey, it looks accurate.
Yeah, I would just be interested to see even lower than that.
I think we are going to see a 3030 this generation because it looks like NVIDIA is skipping a generation. Because we got a 1030, but we didn't get a 1630. We got a 730, but we didn't get a 930. So every other generation.
So
before that, it was the 430, but there was no 5 or 630 was there?
Kepler was a mess.
It
So
was
the
a
600
630.
series had
Well, they normally do the 30s also on the big architecture changes too.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to think like how far down can they scale and still have performance, and it seems like very far for this generation.
Well, I wouldn't think they're going to have an RTX 3030. I think it'll just be a GTX 3030.
No, if they want ray tracing on the whole stack, I think they'll do it. I hope they do it.
Let's see. Let me see something here.
Yeah, there were things before. Look at the 710. It doesn't have the NVENC engine at all of that generation. Like, yeah, they could do some really weird stuff on the low end, the 10s and the 30 cards, but
well, Axie, keep in mind the 710 was wasn't the 710 based on Tesla?
What did the GT 1030 even have an NVENC engine on it? I don't even think.
Yes, it did. It did, but it was, I believe, the one that was used with Maxwell.
Yes, Chris is correct. That's a very specific thing you remember.
Wow, they could go back actually pretty far with models that they release. Like, if they want one that's like equivalent to a 970 in performance, which is a little bit faster than a 1650, yeah, I mean, we could see like a 3020, a 3010.
I don't think they'll do that because at that point they're competing with integrated graphics. There's no point.
They're competing by upgrading. You know, like you could get this new card that has your old card's performance but uses less power and less.
Nobody upgrades like that, Jack.
I would upgrade to a 3010 for the meme because I have a 1030, so I'd be inverting the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. Let's say the 3030 or the 3010 offers the AV1 hardware decode. That's
sure.
A pretty big upgrade over
it is. It is.
On a budget PC.
You're still in the end competing with integrated graphics at that point. You have to make it a value. You have to make it
CUDA
value. Well, sure.
Yeah, a little bit of CUDA cores.
CUDA RTX.
Cool, but no.
Basic.
DLSS.
I don't think you understand what the market for this is because for not
I do. It would be like office computers and like
that's what integrated graphics are for. Because
wait, counterpoint. Ryzen doesn't have integrated graphics.
This is a market segment where $10 can like double your performance, which means there's no point making like a shitty little CUDA accelerator when. Well, what does that get you? It's not even going to be faster than doing that compute on the CPU. Like the floor for this, it isn't zero. Like NVIDIA's never made a Quadro that uses the entry level crap die that they put in netbooks.
The P200
is the P200 based on GP107?
Oh, the P200 it's really shit. Like it's basically as cheap of a Quadro as you can get that has
P1200.
There's a P200/400. I thought.
Well, I mean, there's a P4000, but that one's kind of big. P200 corrects to P2000.
Where is it?
Quadro P400. Okay, that's real. Okay, NVIDIA VR ready. Is this one Pascal? Or, of course it's Pascal.
Quadro.
256 CUDA cores. Okay. And
the 400 was the low one. That was the GP107.
Okay, so that's basically a GT 1030. However, it also comes with 3 display ports. So like that alone, that's going to be more for like digital signage type stuff. You aren't going to need that for a desktop. Like there's some really weird niche commercial uses you can get out of this. But for something like, oh, here's your brand new workstation. It supports CUDA. By the way, it's faster on like 2 CPU cores. It's just not going to happen. What's the MSRP? About twice as much as a 1030 from the looks of it. Quadro P400 MSRP is $120. Really? Yeah, I guess so. From the looks of it, yeah, Quadro P400 is $120. Yeah, it's not expensive. It's a basic video adapter, but it also does like professional grade stuff. That one also offers 10-bit color, I'm assuming.
Even the GeForce cards offer 10-bit color.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do now. Did they with Pascal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pascal. Like even the GT 1030 supports even 265 up to 12-bit.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
That was always a really confusing thing because people were confusing display output bit and the other kind of bit that you get like when you open up Photoshop and like 30-bit deep color, and it's confusing and people don't understand it.
Yeah. But
no,
no,
I just posted Voice Lobby. So NVIDIA's decode encode matrix, they've actually updated it now. It's kind of more options, also still bad to scroll sideways on, but yeah, it has a crap ton of information on there regarding the encoders and stuff.
Yeah. And like, Jack, I mean, I do understand what you mean. Like, yes, it would, strictly speaking, be an upgrade to go from a 300 watt R9 390X to a 30 watt 390X equivalent. That's like a little crappy crappy ampere die. But nobody's actually going to upgrade like that. Like, people don't upgrade for energy efficiency for the most part. That's a really tough sell.
No, that's something that a system integrator would offer as the option.
The X30 cards, like the 1030, was a really big seller for small servers and stuff. Like,
right, but now you're dealing with servers that are running either like old Xeons that don't have integrated graphics, or you're dealing with just basic Ryzen. You know, like desktop Ryzen, not APU Ryzen, CPU Ryzen.
Yeah, the 5950
at that
is
point,
basic.
You're just looking for a graphics adapter, and okay, sure, there's a tiny market for that, but even then, you probably shouldn't buy it just because it's going to be like, what, $70 for a 3010, $80 for a 3030?
We shouldn't, but you know, Dell and HP might buy a whole bunch of them.
If you're doing video transcoding servers or something, or like a Plex transcode server, I'd rather put in one $80 3030 to get 3 4K streams than have to have a 16 core processor fully hammered at 140, 150 watts instead of only 30 or 30 watts.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big difference in power consumption too from the NVENC engines.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and transition to our next article then. So we have Alderlake Semi confirmed to support PCI Express Gen 5 based on some Corebot submissions.
Yay, Gen 5 when Gen 4 is fully adopted.
Gen 4 has actually been out for several years. Power 9 supported it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was fun. You can mostly just get like very fast network adapters for it.
And sorry, correction, not Corebot, Core Boot. So specifically a Linux BIOS development
open firmware updater.
Okay, gotcha.
Tool, yeah.
So with recent comments that have been added to the current submissions to the site in regards to Alderlake, they're talking about a single PCI Express 5.0 8x interface and 2 PCI Express 4.0 4x interfaces. It's unclear if they can be used at the same time at current submission.
I mean, 16 lanes off the CPU is fairly common. So for like a crappy mobile chip, yeah, sure, okay.
Now, the thread I got this from was posted 5 hours ago, so this is a very fresh article, and we'll have to follow up on this when we get more information.
I know how it works. Okay, so your standard like socket H type Intel chips, that's your like LGA 1200, 1150X, whatever. So the way the PCI Express Northbridge works there is you have 3 root ports. You have one that can be up to by 8, and you have 2 ports that can be up to by 4, and they can combine to be up to by 16. Also, the 2x4s can combine into 1x8. So that's how you get like your primary PCI Express slot on like a Z390 board, let's say, or your 2 PCI Express slots where it's split into dual by 8. Anyway. So what I'm wondering here is if Intel is doing it so the by 8 slot or the by 8 port, the larger one, is able to run at Gen 5, and so they can still be combined into by 16.
So it mentions further down, Chris, that the PCIe 5 supports lower widths, so 1, 2, or 4. But it does not support bifurcation. And then the 2 PCIe 4 points are only supported 1x4 with no bifurcation on them.
Well,
they can't support X8 between those two. You can't combine the two 4s to make the 8. So you're stuck with an 8, a 4, and a 4.
Right.
Well, that's not quite how the root ports work.
Well, and also
I've got the documents.
I would say with this development, I mean, this is literally just for Core Boot's BIOS, so we don't know what the final specification and availability will be when Alderlake does finally hit the market.
Yeah, let me pull up the chipsets nonsense here. We've got socket H late.
And another interesting comment is ADLS PCIe 5.0 port would be a swap lane if is reversal.
Yeah, lane reversal. So lane reversal is a fun thing that you can do with PCI Express. Basically, instead of enumerating lanes from 0 to 15, let's say, you enumerate them 15 to 0. And that just makes it easier to route traces in a circuit board because it's like, okay, well, instead of this being the high lane, it's the low lane now, and we don't have to cross over as many wires.
Right.
That is not the right thing. Give me a moment.
For sure.
PCI Express architecture. Here we go. Maybe. Configuration? No, I've got the PCI Express interface on the processor is a single 16-lane port that can also be configured at narrower widths. What do they mean by that, though? Because it can be bifurcated as well. That's... Hang on, processor graphics? Oh, no, that's literally the processor graphics. Damn it, are they not going to explain this one? I know I have this in here somewhere. I can't find it, but though it makes me think that it is... If this is... Oh, that's Rocket Lake. Yeah, if this is going to be like a standard desktop CPU with 16 lanes plus DMI link...
Well, just talking about how Tiger Lake had 4 root ports, PCIe root ports.
Yeah,
and Alder Lake might have 7.
Okay. So how would that have 7? How would you do that?
4 of them for 4.
No, here's how you'd want to do
Gen 4 and
here's
1
how you would want
5.
to do here's how you would want to do the root ports. You have like 3 root ports for the primary slot. 3 root ports for the primary slot, so by 16 or by 8 by 4 by 4. You would want to have 3 root ports for a dedicated by 4 slot for NVMe, so that gives you by 2 by 1 by 1. And if they're like AMD, then those 2 by 1s can also be SATA. And then you've got an additional by 4, which is DMI, unless you're not counting the DMI, in which case like the one can just be split 4 ways. Either way, I don't know. There's stuff they can do there. PCI Express. Oh god, excuse me. PCI Express Gen 5 support is the only like really fun thing about that, and I do think it's funny that like Gen 4 is just going to have such a short life cycle. Actually, it's not going to have a short life cycle because Gen 5 is going to be too damn expensive to integrate into most stuff.
Yeah. I think Gen 4 is going to live a lot longer as your secondary PCIe and your chipset PCIe slots.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, they're having troubles integrating Gen 4 just because of the requirements. So I can't imagine Gen 5 will be easier or the same.
I just hope we don't see a board that has a Gen 5 slot as the main slot, a Gen 4 slot for the secondary plus the M.2, and then PCIe Gen 3 off the chipsets on the mid and low range chipset motherboards.
You know, I could absolutely see that happening, though. Of
course, we're going to.
It could. I mean, it would just be confusing for people who want to actually make use of, let's say, like 25 and 40 key network cards or capture cards that want to do 4K 120 on the chipset slots aren't going to work. You're going to need to put those on your top slots.
Now, I'm also wondering if because like copper isn't magic, it can only, be stretched but so far. I'm wondering if it's just going to end up that this is PCI Express Gen 6 even confirmed to be using copper, or is that moving on to optical fibers yet?
I don't know.
Because like Gen 4, there were rumors years ago that was the last one that was copper, and it wasn't even going to be fully compatible with Gen 3.
Yeah, then 5 was going to be optical instead. But
Yeah.
if they get it to work over copper or some other exotic metal, like there's not to say they have to use copper for those lanes, but that's,
oh god, dude, no! If they're switching to like exotic materials,
it has to be copper.
So
there is no way. There's no way they're doing that. What I'm betting they're doing is that Gen 5 is just going to be for like mobile systems where they're compact enough that we can afford this. This is right next to the socket. We don't have to deal with a big keep out zone for heat sinks.
So there's no official information for PCI Gen 6 yet, aside from just the current version 0.5 revision through PCI SIG. They are expecting a final publication for it at some arbitrary date in 2021. So I don't know. We'll probably have a podcast episode about it this year.
Ooh.
So yeah. I guess we can move on to this next article. So Intel announced stacked nanosheet transistors at IEEE's International Electron Devices meeting. When was this held? I'm assuming on the 28th or the 29th of December. So basically, Intel spoke about the next revision for their transistor technology. Once they get off of silicon, it will be moving to carbon nanosheets. They believe that this is going to be the future of transistor technology. And the big buzzword, beat Moore's law.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I mean, I do feel like carbon nanosheets is definitely a good idea. I just don't know how they would manage, or I don't know how long it would take for us to see that kind of technology in the mainstream.
See, this is the kind of thing that it would be fun to talk to Moshe about, but also he's probably signed about 100 different NDAs about this. So,
I believe it.
Yeah.
Probably can't do that, actually.
Yeah, if we were to ever have Moshe on to talk about this kind of thing, we would have to have a good hour beforehand to just go over what he can and cannot talk about.
We're going to give him say over the Final Cut. Actually, he's going to be the one editing.
Shame.
Hey Moshe, thanks for coming on. You're doing our editing today.
Yeah, just to make sure you get to keep your job.
And then so these next couple articles here in regards to the iPhones, I made this comment when I was adding this to the doc because I know we saw news on folding iPhone tech probably around June, but they were just rumors.
Folding at home. Of course, Simmons wants to talk about that.
No, folding at phone. Let's be real.
Aha, XD.
So the first rumors that we saw for this was a iPhone folding dual display model that came out from John, or the rumor came from John Prosser in 2020 June. Wow, I can't speak. And then we had some additional rumors come out about a folding flexible screen iPhone in November. But then all of a sudden we just started getting a bunch of articles that popped up about 3 days ago, freaking out about the next folding iPhone.
iPhones aren't real.
So the only real headline that I could find was allegedly iPhone, or Apple, I should say, has been testing 2 different models of folding iPhones, and they are now passing durability tests. So,
okay, actually calling the company Apple iPhone is extremely funny.
Yeah. So yeah, we have no real information aside from, I guess we're going to be seeing actual folding iPhones, which I think everybody could have expected this. And then also apparently there's a new hinge patent for the future iPhone models that was just published. When was this published?
Honestly, that's really annoying.
Just because Apple patents something doesn't mean they're going to use it, for starters.
Well, okay, taking that aside, let's say they do use this, let's say it goes into market, let's say it becomes popular. That kind of annoys me because I don't like folding phones. I was very happy that folding phones were starting to fade into irrelevancy.
Meme territory.
And honestly, with the price of them, Apple's not going to just go like, hey, this will be the same price as our Pro. They're going to definitely mark this as above it and charge above it, which is going to give extra justification to other companies charging that price. And that's very annoying. Like, people often use one company like Samsung charging the price they do for their phones because other companies do it. That's not a good thing. Like, those folding phones being $2,000. I mean, you could argue from one standpoint that you're paying for the R&D, but on the other standpoint, other viewpoint, I'd say, piss off. Samsung has billions and trillions of dollars they can spend on R&D.
Oh, that doesn't count. Samsung's just the Korean government.
$2,000 phones are going to become the norm.
That's basically where I'm getting to. Apple's going to charge, let's say, even if they charge $1,750, they'll go, oh, it's cheap compared to the Samsung, blah, 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 blah. And then, people will just be used to it. They're like, yeah, that's how much a folding phone should cost.
Yeah, just remember when the original iPhone was announced at $500, everybody laughed it off at too expensive. By the way, what should I name this new janitor that I'm hiring?
$500 is too expensive.
That's not a name.
It is now.
Hang on. $500 is too expensive. And Daniela
is just
I'm gonna call him Dan Yella. Like he's saying yellow with an accent. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yep, you're welcome.
Anyway, it's just gonna push forward the norm for people spending as much money as a supercharger on an iPhone.
Yeah, I know.
By supercharger, you mean the car bit?
Yes,
of course.
Yeah. Okay. Why did you say that?
Because that's a point of reference for me.
Because you want to supercharge your S2000 because you don't trust Honda's engineers to make a good car.
No, I literally said the opposite of that. But no, I think it's for me, it's just kind of a decent point of reference for this kind of tech because
it's a car is so much more enjoyable.
That's a very expensive performance, but like take that, or maybe take very well-made wheels as another, or suspension, right? They've always been around that expensive plus inflation since they've come out, since those parts have existed.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
when phones creep up into that, that's not an excuse of inflation or tech, because honestly, supercharger, turbocharger, and wheel and tire technology has grown super extensively, and the prices haven't gone up that much, and the market is much smaller.
Alex, keep in mind just like the degrees of complexity that we're dealing with here. Like, I realize it's kind of reductive to say this, but a tire is a tire. Yes, as time goes on, designs get more complex, simulations get more complex, like research and development is more expensive. Machine tolerances have to get tighter, et cetera, et cetera. But also, in the end, it's still a tire. When you're dealing with like semiconductors, you're fighting quantum physics at this point. Like, it's just a different kind of expensive, and it's only getting like more expensive to do this kind of thing because the designs are just getting so much more complex. Like,
no, Chris.
What am I trying to say? If you were engineering tires 100 years ago, you're still engineering tires today. If you're engineering a computer today, then you are engineering like things that were not able to exist even like 30 years ago.
I'm going to vulcanize you.
Please do.
Yeah, like rubber tires.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is not. So I get that, but you can get, let's say, the iPhone. Let's say it came out in this one, and it was the 12 Fold, right?
Yeah.
And it was $1,750, and the iPhone 12 Pro is $1,000.
Yeah.
And the iPhone,
I mean, to be clear, it sucks. I'm just saying.
No, I know. But then the iPhone 12, which uses all of this sort of R&D and most of the silicon, is like $700, right?
Yeah.
I get your whole argument and everything for the $700 iPhone 12, but not for the $2,000 iPhone 12.
The hinge is not justified doubling the price isn't enough for that. Yeah.
But flagship phones have gone so far off the deep end of bullshit status that
that's why I got an SE.
Yeah. And like I said, I bought an iPhone 11 Pro, and the only thing I like about it, Pro-wise, is the display. And the display is now on the base model 12. They're using the OLED across all of them. So I have no reason to get the Pro ever again. The zoom camera is neat. I can do without it. I'd actually rather have the zoom camera than the ultra wide, but that's a thing.
Actually, fun fact about the zoom camera: unless you're in absolutely perfect lighting conditions, it doesn't get used because the main camera plus optical zoom does a better job.
Digital zoom?
Oh yeah, digital zoom.
Yeah.
Really? No, I found my zoom camera to be as good as the main lens, unless they made your main lens better.
No, they have. I've actually tested it out myself, and I cover the zoom lens. And the only time that it does actually switch to it is in like perfect lighting conditions. Other than that, it uses digital zoom with the main camera.
That's interesting. Mine's not like that at all. But that's interesting. Either way,
phone prices really suck. Phone prices in particular really suck. And I think a lot of it is they're also going for the status symbol of it, as if like, does anybody actually care? I mean, like,
you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
There are people that do care, and there are a lot of them for some reason. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's like I have enough friends who are still rocking like back in college who are still rocking like 4S's with cracked screens, like that kind of thing. It's like, yeah, it's an iPhone. It's also a piece of shit, but it works. It gets the job done.
No,
it doesn't.
There's a lot
to do much more.
It's a lot of the people who you wouldn't interact with. That's no offense.
Oh yeah, there you go.
No, but it's a lot of the
normies.
People, essentially, like people who would be sitting on Instagram comparing themselves to influencers.
Yeah.
It's that kind of person who's that
just
kind of
really
keeping up with the Joneses mentality.
Yeah.
And if you also look at it in terms of, I know Frick liked to bring it up, the meme like designer phones.
Oh God,
do you remember what I'm talking about? That doesn't exist, but there is totally a market for that, but not in that way. That was a horribly executed way, but in a way of Apple selling it, Samsung selling it, not insert fly-by-night company here selling something with diamonds on it. That was stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about like that $20,000 Lamborghini phone or whatever it was?
Yeah, essentially that way.
Oh no, there is a more expensive phone now. It is based on the iPhone 12 Pro. It is, I think, $250,000.
Amazing.
Yeah, but that's way too far off the deep end.
At that point, you just kind of get to a point where it's like, yes, I hate poor people. I've called the cops on a panhandler before. It's that kind of thing.
Well, I think more to Alex's comment is that just the mainstream phone prices just keeps. It's not even. I can't even call it inflation anymore. It's just the price. Not. Yeah, because inflation aside, the price is exponential. From generation to generation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can justify the $700 when you look at the $500 iPhone 1.
Yeah,
if you want to call it that, all the way up to now the iPhone 12. $700. It's like inflation plus R&D. Okay, we got that. Same for most of anything tech related. It's kind of like that. Hello, GPUs, who have also done the same thing as phones.
Well, but at the same time, I mean, if we make the GPU comparison, yes, GPUs have got, especially with the 20 series NVIDIA GPUs, they got extremely expensive for.
No, I'd say the 1000 series.
Well, no, I would say the 20 series in particular, because your 2080 Ti costs $1,500 versus your.
No, 2080 Ti was a Titan. Well, no, hang on. No, that's right. That's right.
It wasn't 1,500. It was 1,000.
It was 1,200. No, they jacked up the price of everything by one tier, basically.
But then I would also argue that if you're comparing from like a 2080 to say like a 3080, where the price is relatively equivalent and the amount of performance increase is significant, that then
no. But okay, no, I hate that argument because it's like, oh, they're charging more money because you're paying more, getting more performance from it. But it's like a completely different
I
generation.
better get more performance out of it. It's
Because-
like
and
a
also
year's newer GPU.
The
Yeah.
thing with R&D is like, yes, sure, but look at CPUs.
Well, okay, so I guess the comparison I'm trying to make is like, okay, so the 2080 Ti costs $1,200. Thank you for the correction.
No,
but
but
the
okay,
3080 is supposed to cost $750, and it outperforms the 2080 Ti.
No. What? No, we literally just said like compete. You can't, but that's like saying, okay, the iPhone 12 is a great deal. The iPhone 12 Pro is a great deal because it costs the same as an iPhone X. It's like, yeah, but it's 3 years newer. No one's going to be cross-shopping those two GPUs.
Yeah.
Also, think of the fact that, like, especially with the whole devices.
No, Alex, I want to wrap this back around. This is why Jack's saying that upgrading from a 390X to a hypothetical 3010 that is as fast but uses a tenth the power is very silly, because nobody is going to be looking at these two things. They're not meant for the same market.
Wait, hang on. They're not meant for the same market, yes, but I do kind of agree with Jack in the sense that that is a market in terms of, like, let's say I want to build Tiffany a computer.
Yes.
That would be a decent one. And also, keep in mind, just because it doesn't make sense for it to exist in the market, like pretty much the GT 230, 630, 620, 1030, those don't really make sense, but they exist and they sell really well.
They exist mainly for OEMs, as far as I know, but yeah.
That's exactly why a 3010 would exist, probably because they're not making any of the others and they need to just crap out a crap GPU so they can have tons of stock for. What the hell are these people buying it for? I don't know, but they're buying it.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the phone things and cross shopping.
Yeah.
Sorry, no one's going to be cross shopping a 2080 and a 3080. If they are stupid and like no one's going to be doing that. That's bad.
Yeah, and looking at the Apple phone market, specifically the Apple phone market.
Yeah.
The App Store is what they make their money off of, not
the
price of the phone itself. So all the apps are going to be designed and written to be able to run on the lowest spec, so essentially the SE of the last 5 years, so they get the most people on that app. So do you really need the fastest? No, because the slowest phone is still going to run every app on the App Store perfectly fine, unless you're getting like those very few games that can make use of the higher performance or maybe do stuff slightly faster. But it's definitely more status than it is anything else, unless it's the newest phone to have that brand new camera for the first generation or the new screen's first appearance before it trickles down in the next year to basically all the cheap models.
Or if you're just a dumb idiot and want the frosted glass on the back.
Yeah, so like, the whole phone market being like the high end being as inflated is stupid because they make their money off the apps, just like game consoles.
But that
sell
is for
the consoles at pretty much cost because they know they're going to make the money off the games and apps and all the accessories, not the base phone. So the inflated price makes absolutely no sense. It's purely there just because they know they can do it because people keep buying them.
Yeah, well, that's more for Apple specifically, because when you get to Android, how much of a cut on apps are any of the Android phone guys getting?
I don't know, but it is probably much more convoluted.
But they've also got all the Android manufacturers, so the Samsung and Huawei and all them, they have their own app garden that they pre-build onto the phones to do data collection, and they're counting more on the sale of data instead. And
God, I hate phones.
Any other integrations of like Spotify or that kind of stuff, whatever sound app they have, that they hope that you'll just use that and start buying on that specific one.
So, pro tip, buy the worst current or previous gen iPhone and never use the App Store. Or if you do, download free apps.
Damn, I just hate smartphones in general. Like, I got an SE because
I love my Pixel.
Yeah, well, you have bad opinions. I got my SE because my 6S
I love you, Jack. Don't worry.
Was like falling apart. That's it. That's the only reason I got a new phone.
Smartphones are like dumb idiots.
But no, it's just, what am I supposed to get out of these exactly? Like, they're, as far as I'm concerned, even even like, what are we, 13 years into the iPhone now? As far as I'm concerned, it's still a toy. Like, it is still a fight to do even the most basic things that you could do in Windows 95. Like not even
Excel
Windows.
document.
Like Windows 3.1, like, yeah, spreadsheets or text editing or like anything. You can browse
email viewing.
You can browse the web and you can play simple games, and that's about it.
I use mine for emails, and that's the only real smart feature I use. I'm not going to count a camera as a smart feature because I've had plenty of dumb phones that have had cameras.
Yeah,
my Windows
and frankly, if dumb phones had stuck around, like if nobody thought, hey, let's put a computer in your pocket, we still would have gotten better camera tech out of them. I mean, why not?
I missed my original, well, not my original, but my last generation Motorola Razr V3T. At the time, it had an amazing camera, and it was a single camera that just flipped because it had the front-facing screen that acted as a selfie screen for taking selfies.
Oh, cool.
It did selfies. And it was USB, and it just had a micro SD slot and your SIM card slot. Like, it was everything you want in a phone. It could browse the internet. I'll bite you. It was a very small screen, but now with current OLED tech, you could easily read an email on a phone that size.
Yeah.
As long as you're not needing like inch-thick glasses. But yeah, I miss that phone because I feel like, with my current phone, it's way more than needed. I just end up getting addicted to stuff, and a lot of people get addicted to their phones when if they had a flip phone, I probably wouldn't.
I think that a lot of the major reason that phones are the way they are is that people still think they need to upgrade every year.
Yeah.
Yes. Also,
my Pixel 3
although software kind of requires that, doesn't it?
Well, Apple's actually quite good with that.
Well, Apple's good about it, but Android isn't.
Yeah, hang on. What I want to say, what's kind of funny, I want to say two things. One, we say Apple's quite good with that because they keep 5 years of support. Realistically, after that 5 years is up, you're an iPhone success, they're crap. Like, when that iPhone 6s came out, it was not the state in which you left it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it wouldn't have been as fast as your phone is now, but it was not noticeably slow. Yes, some of it's up to the battery life, but a lot of it is probably up to not Apple, but also a lot of third-party apps just go, screw it, I'm not going to write code.
Yeah, why not? Why should you?
Crap. Another thing I wanted to bring back when Axie mentioned the addiction thing. So I'm watching, pretty much finished like a K-drama that's set in the 80s. And it's kind of interesting because it goes from the 80s to the 90s.
Alex, hang on. I've got to harass you. So you've moved on from anime to Korean sitcoms?
Kind of. No, but it goes from the 80s.
He's an adult now.
Oh, okay.
It goes from the
He's a man of culture.
It goes from the 80s to the 90s. And what's very interesting is to see the beeper tech and then the cell phone tech get introduced. And just how it goes from people can just do their own things. Like if they go to a restaurant, whatever, that's what happens. They go to a restaurant, they enjoy each other for that time. But when soon as beepers came in, it's like, bang, your attention's diverted now because your beeper went off. Or things like that. Like Tiffany's parents, for example, have a landline, and Axie probably knows if you have a landline, it's only used for spam calls. That's all that calls spam calls.
Yes. Dude, I keep telling my parents about this. I keep telling them to just
what I said
get rid of
to
it.
Tiffany is like, next time I'm over, I'm just going to disconnect all the land phones and they won't even notice because they've never used it except for answering spam calls. And it's not even like that's nice. I think this will just improve your mood by not having your attention completely zapped by something else and interrupted.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same for smartphones. Like how we probably have our smartphone set up because it's logical. I know Chris would because you are very particular. You don't interact in your smartphone in an unintended or interrupted way. If you want to use it, you use it.
It's like that picture. It's like that picture.
Yeah,
Every robot needs to shut the hell up. You may only speak if you have been spoken to, and I will never speak to you.
No, it's exactly
like my
I love
Pixel.
that meme though, because it's exactly how it should be. So many people have hundreds. Like they did a sort of study of, the average push notifications that people get a day, and it's something like 400. Which is mind-blowing because I've set up screen time and I can see I get an average of 3 a day.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't get any. The only notifications that I get are voicemails and text messages. Nothing else sends anything to like my lock screen.
Yeah, no, but you see, we're not average in that regard. The average person doesn't read, "Hey, do you want notifications?" And I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's like I manage my
allow. Take all my data, take all my pictures, take all my contacts, take everything, my passwords, have it, have my notifications, tell my phone to like ring as soon as there's an update for this game, and then they just get accepted with this bombardment of information and crap.
You're absolutely
I mean,
correct.
like that's one of the things that I've complained about Twitter a lot, just because like there is no way to make the website shut the hell up about like particular features of it. Like I never
But that's
care.
also modern advertising.
So-
It's gone from like, hey, do you want to buy this to buy this? No.
I mean, that to be fair, that's like all of advertising, but it's more specifically
But it's like on your
you
personal
can't
device.
escape it. Yeah.
Now, I will also make a
fucking gas station things. I'm sorry, that's 2 F-bombs this podcast. I
Oh
apologize.
yeah, that's
That's a
crazy.
bit more, but yeah.
So
No,
I was
that's
going to
crazy.
say, because going back to the push notification thing, because I look at my mom's cell phone as a perfect example as the average user. She only has like maybe like 3 apps installed on her phone, and them being Facebook Messenger, and then I think like Candy Crush. And
Of course.
and
Why does my
every-
mom also play Candy Crush?
yeah, exactly. But I
comes
swear to
built
God,
into
every
Windows 10
time I
now.
have to look at my mom's phone, she has about 500 notifications that she has never cleared out from her phone. And I've asked her about it a couple of times. And she says like, "Oh yeah, I just ignore them. They just show up and I just leave them alone." I'm like,
Same.
you can turn those off, right?
Yeah.
And
No,
she's
I
like,
mean, like,
Even Apple has made it in a way which it's not as hard to turn off as to turn on anymore. Both of the options are as difficult or as easy as one another.
right.
But people still go for the allow all, because before allow all was default, but now neither is default. You have to choose, but people still choose allow. They're choosing to have this
yeah, no, I mean, it's like,
noise.
I mean, God, like, what are I've technically modified my car. I took out the temperature sensor in front of the radiator because that's an ambient air sensor. It's used for climate control and displaying a temperature in the dashboard, and also for making a beep at me if the temperature is too low, so it warns me of icy roads. And it's like, no, go away. Like you are not allowed to make noise at me. Like that's really just my approach to technology at this point. You are not allowed to make noise at me unless I want you to.
Yeah, I mean,
And
going to the
I
car
think it's a good
analogy.
approach.
Going to the car analogy, that's why some people like cars pre-electronic, because it's kind of like, I want a decently powered rear-wheel drive car, because if I kill myself by sliding it, it's my fault.
Yeah.
But that going all the way back to phones, I don't even know how this started. Oh, the Apple flip
iPhones.
phone.
Yeah. So
Well,
Yeah,
Axie's been trying to get a word in edgewise.
Oh, sorry.
Kind of
Yeah.
curious what he was going to say.
This point I'm having trouble remembering, but I think it was kind of the push stuff as well. Is that like I'm on call for work, and I love Android because I can go into my email settings and turn off all my like extra Gmail accounts, like my random sign up ones, just have no notifications at all.
Mhm.
My personal one is every half hour. My work one is every 15 minutes. MS Teams, I just blocked completely in Android settings. Twitter, I just blocked completely. No, I didn't block. I actually enabled it for if someone adds me or sends me a message. Discord's only if I get a personal message. All servers are muted. But like some
How
apps
dare
let you
you.
do that.
Yeah,
but a bunch don't.
But
And it's
that's the
annoying.
one nice thing about, I mean, like Android has that, it's gotten a lot better with that, but that's the one nice thing about Apple's, like when they did this whole stance, it was an overriding setting above all the apps. So on mine, it's like system settings, notifications, blah, 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 and you can just go off, or default, off. And I've got the same thing with the do not disturb thing, where the only things that can get to me and do not disturb are my emergency contacts and unfortunately work because I'm on call.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's one of the fun things about like technology being the way it is now, which is that it's no longer okay, boss, I'll see you Monday. It's you're just kind of
permanently
on call, even if you're not getting paid for it. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I've
like
definitely had
it
that
is.
before.
It's not healthy. it is not even close to healthy.
So that's an interesting thing. So I just finished 2 weeks of vacation, and the entire thing is it's really hard to disconnect because it's in the back of your mind the entire time. And with how America has its horrible vacation laws, it takes like 2 weeks to disconnect, and that's all you get a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad because like the way America works and how they do, like what do they expect of their workers? It's going down the exact path of the stereotypical Japanese salaryman who
Oh my
doesn't
God.
live a good life. It's basically approaching that point, except 40 years later.
No,
And
like
it's gonna be way worse.
America does not have a healthy approach to labor, like at all.
No, like Canada
just in
is not
general.
good either. Like
Canada is
far from
better,
perfect.
but you actually have like laws in place to protect
So
it.
the problem with Canada is a lot of Canada's sort of perception and how we judge ourselves is, yeah, we're better than America than this. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
it's like,
lot
oh,
of Canada is
congratulations.
comparing ourselves to the South and making sure we're better than them, and also making sure that no one mistakes us for America. There's a lot of that, and that's it. That's the full extent that it goes to. Like a lot of the time, I feel like Canada just willfully ignores the rest of the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's about flip iPhones then.
Yeah, and actually, we're at a good wrapping up point. So, thank you all for listening. And yeah, does anybody?
Hey, do we just want to take this into extras?
Honestly,
we'll
Let's
start-
complain. Let's complain about society, which we live in. Gamers Rise Up.
Oh no, we plan on it.
Yeah, we have to
Okay.
say bye-bye.
Bye.
White people love to say bye bye.